For legal analysis of today's charges, we bring in Adam Kaufmann, former chief of the investigation division at the Manhattan's DA's office. That's the office now prosecuting this case. Adam, we've been talking all day. Let's go back a bit. It's not a crime for a company to compensate their executives with big perks like apartments and luxury cars, but you have to pay taxes on it. So how serious do you think these charges are?
I mean, that's exactly right, Kyra. This is a common business practice, but the common business practice is to step up and declare what's being paid and pay the taxes on it. And that's how businesses should operate. This is a pretty big deal, I would say. It's a lot of money. When I was running the investigation division, I routinely signed off on indictments for payroll tax, for tax evasion that was much smaller than a $1.7 million total. So, I think these are very serious charges. The indictment speaks to the indictment says a lot. It speaks to a systematic and ongoing course of conduct. If you notice in the indictment, it talks about keeping careful track of the value of what was being given to Mr. Weisselberg off the books so they could deduct his salary, but they didn't declare the income. So they're sort of reporting to the IRS one set of numbers, and internally they're keeping track of another set of numbers. That's sort of a textbook tax scheme. This just happens to be a big one.
So prosecutors also claim that tuition payments for private school were paid by personal checks signed by Donald Trump. What's the legal significance of that?
It's interesting. I mean, that sort of points to something a lot more direct involving the former president than a lot of the other parts of the indictment, which speak only to the corporation. You can also take note, there's a final count in the indictment that talks about falsifying business records, which is a common charge brought by prosecutors. Most of the falsifying business records speak to W-2s or 1099s, the kind of documents you might expect to see in a tax case. The last count in the indictment charges falsification of the personal ledger of Donald Trump. And so you look at that and you think, well, that's different. That speaks much more to Mr. Trump himself rather than to the Trump organization. So I think that's a significant development that's sort of tucked in at the end of the indictment.
So having worked in this prosecutor's office, what can you tell us about the DA's possible next steps? And do you think they'll try to flip Alan Weisselberg against the former president? And if so, does that mean the former president is in trouble?
So, I mean, the answer, of course, is yes. They've brought this indictment. It's been reported they were trying to get Mr. Weisselberg to cooperate. He has refused. Now he's indicted. He's looking at as much as 5 to 15 years in jail. He'll be looking at probably not that much time, but he'll be looking at jail time for this conduct. And of course, they're going to be trying to get him to flip. They'll be trying to get other Trump executives into the grand jury and to see what they have to say about the scope of conduct and who was involved.
And finally, the Trump organization is criminally indicted as well. What does that even mean, since a company is not a person and can't go to jail?
Yeah, it's pretty common. Well, it's not uncommon, I should say, in white-collar cases to charge a corporate defendant. When a high managerial agent of a company engages in criminal conduct, the company can be charged. So here we have the CFO of the organization who engaged in this systematic ongoing scheme to defraud the taxes and to receive these false refunds and to orchestrate all of the false record keeping. So in that type of case, the corporation does have exposure, does have criminal culpability. And so the corporation can face substantial fines. And if convicted, it could face loss of licenses, different types of collateral consequences. But those would be beyond the scope of the criminal justice system.
The indictment did say it wasn't just talking about Alan Weisselberg, but other executives within the Trump organization. So what is your gut? You investigated these types of cases. Are we talking about the former president and his kids?
Now, of course, I have absolutely no idea because I don't know the evidence. The common knowledge or the common refrain is that Mr. Trump controlled everything within the Trump organization. So that's an answer to your question.
And that's what Michael Cohen told me tonight. We actually interviewed Michael Cohen, as you know, his former attorney and confidant and advisor, and he flipped on him as well. And that's exactly what he said, that Donald Trump knows everything that goes on in the Trump organization, everything connected to money.
Well, and that's so, that's testimony the grand jury may hear, but to indict someone, you have to prove that they specifically had knowledge or participated in or ordered or condoned the specific criminal acts that are being charged. So a general statement that Mr. Trump did everything isn't going to get to an indictment. The question is whether there is competent evidence and there are witnesses who put him in the room giving an order or somehow doing something that brings specific criminal liability.
Adam, always appreciate your insights, and thanks for helping me get through the day today. We had a lot of breaking news when this came down.
Thanks, Kyra. It's been a great day. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks.
You bet.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.